Assalamu alaikum class. We are going to start from 5.2 mood elements. In the previous class, we discussed what are mood, right? So there are three types basically, declarative, imperative, and interrogative. Now let us review briefly the clause in terms of the mood block. The mood block can be divided into two parts. One is mood and another one is residue. The elements that belong to the mood are subject, finite. Subject in the mood system corresponds to the subject in the traditional grammar, right? And is also referred to as grammatical subject. The finite is the part of the verbal group that encodes primary tense, verbal operator, and polarity. It can also express the speaker's opinion in terms of modality, in this case, through a modal operator or adjunct. See page 29 below. The most important constituents of the clause as exchange are the subject and finite. The subject and finite constitutes the nub of the proposition. In order to interact, we need both something to argue about and some way in which argue. Now, let's explore it further. Let me scroll it down. The second part of the VG is recall the predicator. For example, he has gone, has is the finite, gone is the predicator. Other example is he arrived, or past tense is the finite, and arrives at noon, S is the finite. Recall too that in imperatives, for example, get out, there is no finite, only predicator. Finites expressing opinion are discussed under the section modal finites. You can identify subject finite in the clause by forming a tag question. Now, there are a couple of things you need to keep in mind here. For example, let me use the pen here. Now, first of all, you need to differentiate between finite, right, and predicator. For example, over here, it says the workers protested against the government reform yesterday, didn't they? Now, our focus is predicator and the finite. Where is the finite here? Can you tell me? Because we discussed finiteness in one of our classes previously. Yes?
The protested.
No, not exactly protested. This ed indicates,
Yes.
what you call that tense. So we can
Fine.
say like
Yes, sir.
this ed is the finite, and the whole thing protested is the predicator, basically, right? Sometimes
Okay, sir.
what happens, for example, if I say he is working, so if I write he is working, right? Now, what is happening here? Here we do have the finite and this predicator, right? Okay, we can see them separately, right? So is the finite, and working is the predicator. But sometimes, these finites and predicators, right? They come as one word, right? Okay. So in that case, whatever the inflection you see, for example, ed or s, that shows finiteness, right? And the whole word is actually the predicator. Do you get this point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I believe that there are other people attending apart from Asra, Fatma,
Yes, sir.
Laiba. Are you guys getting this or not? Because then, after, yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Because after Eid, I believe you do have the exam. When do you have the exam, mid exam? Any clue, class? When do we have the mid exam?
Maybe sir 38 March से.
30th March, right? Take it. Okay. Now, another important thing they are talking about here, how to identify the subject. And the subject is one of the ways to identify a subject is the tag question. So the workers protested against the government reforms yesterday, didn't they? So this they refers to what? Workers. This is plural, this is also plural in the tag, right? So this means workers are what? The subject, right? The workers' protest against the government reform was held yesterday, wasn't it? Wasn't it? So workers' protest, there has to be a apostrophe over here. I think there is a typo in the book, right? So they got to be uh, what you call that apostrophe, right? Okay. So when they say the workers' protest against the government reform was held, so the protest they're talking about, right? So wasn't it? So it refers to the protest. It refers to the protest, right? So this is how we identify the subject in any sentence, right? So we just change it into tag question, and we come to know about that. Now, we will now work further at how meanings are mapped onto lexical grammar of the mood system. Now, let's have a look at that. The subject finite positioning in the clause indicates whether the speaker is giving or demanding information or demanding goods and services. In short, the order of the subject and finite indicates whether the clause is declarative, interrogative, or imperative. And I think that as teachers, you already know about that. For example, let's have a look at this one. When we say who broke the vase, right? Okay. Now, what makes it interrogative? Yes, class.
Yes, sir. Use WH family question mark.
Right. So, do you see any change in the ordering?
Yes, sir. Order to.
What change is there in the order?
Basically, he's asking who broke the vase, and the person who is replying that I didn't. He didn't
Mhm.
say कि, like this person.
No, but then who broke the vase, right? This is interrogative, right? So, if I just make it declarative, I can say that the vase is broken. Am I right? Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Or I can say that somebody broke the vase, right? Is that clear now? Now here, instead of somebody, instead of the subject who is basically is acting as a subject here. And as we are saying that it's all about S and F and the order of SN and F, right? So here we can see the substitution. And then the answer is I did not, right? And when it says I did not, right? This one is declarative. Uh, this one is imperative or interrogative. And how do we know that? From pure grammatical aspect. Is the word order, subject, verb order is the normal one or different?
Sir, different. क्योंकि हमारे we do not have subject first, but we have verb first after question. Who?
I'm talking about this one.
Yes,
S.
sir. Uh, अच्छा.
Yeah, you couldn't get that.
It has a subject and the verb, but do not have the object. I did.
But object is not mandatory, right? So we got to focus on the order, keeping in mind subject and the finite, right? So the subject and finite are in the normal positions or not? In
Yes,
I
sir.
didn't. Yeah, they are, right? And then if when we say who did then, what is happening here? Has it been, subject has been replaced, substituted by who or not? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir, because it didn't mention the subject.
Yes. And then it said, I don't know. Maybe
Maybe.
Fufi did, right? Nah, he's been out all the day. So I didn't, Sammy did, and didn't. Now you can see over here, right, wherever there is a question, either there is a substitution, right, okay, with the WH, okay, or maybe the order is different, right? We bring the finite first, right, and we take the subject later. Now, this shows that this is in this whole mode system, right? Right. There are variations, in the structure, right? Now, what are this trying to tell here? Mode tells us it is an argument. Why do you think, how mode tells us it's an argument? Because all the instances are in the same structure, or they are taking different forms. This class is the structure.
Sir, state.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
they're taking different forms, right? Right. So
Yes, sir.
question, then declarative, interrogative, declarative, interrogative, declarative, then declarative. No, even then interrogative, but that is incongruent interrogative, right? Then we have again declarative, then again uh, like, I believe that this is also a sort of negation. Yeah. Right. So dialogue 2. Now here you can see a patient is arguing with psychotherapist about paying for an appointment he could not keep. Dialogue from television series and this. Tony, what if I got hit by a car? Psychotherapist, but you were not. Tony, I know, but what if? Psychotherapist, but you were not. Tony, I know that, but what if you were not? Tony, why don't you answer my question? Psychotherapist, I will not. Tony, you won't. All right, fine. As illustrated in both these examples, the mood choice a speaker makes is thus important in argumentation. The SNF signals what is arguable. It signals what response is preferred. It is a hot day. It is a hot day, isn't it? Either you agree it is a hot day or you don't agree. The same, for example, 1 and 2 on the previous page. The workers protested against the government reform yesterday, didn't they? The workers' protest against the government reforms was held yesterday, wasn't it? In example 1, the worker is subject. What we can argue about is only what the workers did or did not. While in 2, the subject is protest, and we can only argue about the protest itself. Now, what exactly they're trying to tell you? When we have the subject, right? Okay, so the subject actually builds the argument. It sets the arguments. So we focus on the subject, right? And then the rest of the sentence, right? And then we understand that some sort of argument is involved here, right? So all of these sentences, right? Okay, or most of these sentences, they do have the subject, and so it seems like that something is being argued here. Now, also in example 3, they're referring, where am I? Yeah, riot police shot and killed 11 African demonstrators, didn't they? In example 4, 11 Africans were shot dead by police one day. The addressee has two options available. We can see that in 3, riot police is subject, thus we can argue only about what the police did or didn't do. While in 4, the action of the participant, a riot police, is significantly not what you, the reader or listeners, are asked to agree or disagree. the validity or lack of validity of the statement regards what was done to the passive participants as grammatical subjects 11 African. Now you can see over here. Riot police. Now here clearly this riot police is setting the argument. But what about this one? 11 Africans were shot dead by police, weren't dead. Now here we can say that the action of the participants, riot police, is the significantly not what you, the reader or listener, are asked to agree or disagree with. The validity or the lack of validity of the statement regards what was done to the passive participant as grammatical subject. Now you can see that again grammatical subject is setting the argument, right? So in short, what they're trying to tell you that in most of the declarative sentences, the argument is set by the grammatical subject. Do you understand this point so far? Now, the mood, as you know, signals what response is preferred or what kind by choosing an inanimate grammatical subject in the headline in example 5. Right below, the writer doesn't lay responsibility for the validity of the proposition on human participants, while the choice of the writer of headline example 6 does. The implication of these kinds of choices are discussed in section 7.2 nominalization. And you already know what is nominalization. Nominalization, when you actually, make, from noun you make verbs or action, right? Okay, that is called nominalization. Now, Israeli raids leave 13 dead in Gaza, right? Now, in number 5, they say that the writer doesn't lay responsibility of the validity of the proposition on human participants, right? So, Israeli raids, right? Do you think this is a human participation, or it is a kind of inanimate participation? What do you understand by that? Yes, class. When we say that Israeli raid, so we are talking about raid, or we are talking about human beings or a particular raid? Yes, class. I'm waiting for your response.
Sir, particular rates.
Particular raids, right? Okay, so it's inanimate, right? So that inanimate thing has been kept as a grammatical subject, right? The writer, actually, why the writer has chosen this, probably he doesn't want to hold, human beings responsible for that, right? At least he doesn't want to. Right? Whereas on these, in number 6, gunmen killed, right? Marine in Kuwait, right? So here you can see that the responsibility is being given to, or a human being is being human being is being held accountable here, right? So what does that mean? That means that, the choice, the mood, the choice of words in the mood, or the elements we place in the mood, right? Okay, right, communicate differently, right? And so very strategically, newspapers and media, right? Okay, put these elements in certain positions, right? So this grammatical subject is a very, very, very important position, right? Because it actually allows readers to follow the argument, right? Do you understand this point now? Okay, now there is one more thing here. Signaling speaker's opinions. Finite modal operator. The finite, as already explained, encodes the primary tense and polarity. However, it has also been said it can also encode speaker's opinion. In this case, finite is called a modal operator, and its function is to express the speaker's opinion regarding probability, certainty of the proposition being made, or degree of obligation and necessity of a proposal. Modal operators are modal verbs such as may, might, and could. A speaker's opinion regarding the certainty or credibility of the proposition made may be mapped onto lexical grammar of the clause in other ways besides through the use of modal operators. Speakers may use modal adjunct to do this as well, either modal, mood adjunct, MA, or comment adjunct. Now, what is this? Signaling speaker's opinion mood adjuncts. Mood adjuncts carry interpersonal meanings, express probability, perhaps, maybe, or probable, intensification or minimization, really, absolutely, just, obligation and inclination, happily and willingly. MAS also express usuality, for example, sometimes, usually, in conversation between Dad and Samantha and Morgana, and Samantha uses MA, maybe, to signal her uncertainty about the proposition she made. These adjuncts are included in the mood block but are not part of the finite because they don't indicate finiteness. They don't indicate any tense, right? Okay. So if I say, maybe you are right, is there any tense in maybe? Any indication of tense or time in maybe?
No, sir.
No, sir, right? So that's what they're saying, that mode adjuncts usually don't carry any sort of finiteness, right? Okay. Then we have another thing. These adjuncts are included in the mode block, but are not part of it. MAs are usually located in the middle of the clause, as illustrated below in table. However, they can also occur in the beginning. So when they appear at the beginning, they are not, however, followed by a comma. In table B, we have the MAs at the beginning of the clause. Now look at this table. Fufi probably did, right? So we have this subject, then we have mood adjunct, and then we have finite. Maybe Fufi did. So we have MA, right? Okay, and subject and finite. Now, what does that mean? Mood adjunct can come in two positions, maybe in the beginning or it may come in the mid. Usually it comes in the mid also, right? But it doesn't show any sort of tense. Signaling speaker's opinion, comment adjuncts. Now, and also they show certainty and probability, right? As Halliday says, there is no very clear line between these comment adjuncts and the mood adjuncts. That means they overlap, right? Comment adjuncts are added comments expressing the speaker's attitude to proposition as a whole, such as unfortunately, hopefully, surprisingly, broadly speaking. Comment adjunct different from the MS do usually occur at the beginning of a clause, but they can also be in the middle or in a final position. They are, however, usually set off by commas. And you can see that mood adjuncts are usually not set off by commas at all, right? So unfortunately, he has already left. He has unfortunately already left. He has already left, unfortunately. So you can see that the comment of adjuncts, they're coming in all three positions, whereas mood adjuncts have just two positions, right? In the mid and in the beginning. And they are separated by commas, whereas those are not separated by commas. Now identify mood element SF and MS in the following conversation. So let's you try to do that. Perhaps the Rolling Stones wrote yesterday, but I may have made a mistake. Can you tell me where is MA in A? Can anyone of you?
Unfortunately,
In A.
yes, sir.
I don't see unfortunately in A. Unfortunately, I don't see unfortunately in A.
अच्छा
Task
task 3
3.
task 3 okay sir perhaps
That is perhaps, right? And one more thing, unfortunately is comment adjunct. It is not at all a mode adjunct, right? Okay.
okay sir.
All right. Now, if we just read number B, can anyone tell me about regrettably you did? They absolutely didn't write yesterday.
Sir, regrettably
Regrettably is what?
Sir, mood adjunct.
It's not mood adjunct. It is comment adjunct because it has been separated by comma. So you guys are not following, right? If I read the whole thing here, that usually comment adjunct, they do have, they're separated by a comma, right?
Okay, GG sir. GG.
Okay. And if they say they absolutely didn't write yesterday, now what about absolutely? What is it?
The mood agent.
Here it is mood agent, right? Okay. Well, honey, who did? Now, what is well here?
Comment agent.
That is comment agent, right? Okay. And now comment agents are at the borderline between the textual and interpersonal. So while Halliday includes them in the mood block, you will find that some other scholars do not. In this course, comment agents are considered to be the part of the mood block. So some other authors, they say that it may not be because most likely it's not part of the interpersonal conversation and all that, right? So it is sometimes it fits in the textual thing, sometimes it can fit in the interpersonal also. But Halliday strictly, who is the actually the pioneer of this work, right? He believes that it should fall under mood block, right? So we'll consider it as mood block. Now, partial list of modal and mood adjuncts. Now, this is another thing. For more complete list, but still not exhaustive, see Halliday list. Polarity. Polarity is what? Not, yes, no, so. What does that mean? What is polarity? Opposite poles, right? Negative and positive? Yes or no? Class?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Then probability, probably, possibly, certainly, perhaps, maybe, definitely. Then usuality, usually, sometimes, always, never, ever, seldom, rarely. Inclination, willingness, readiness, willingly, readily, gladly, certainly. Obligation, definitely, absolutely, possibly, at all cost. Adjunct of temporality. Okay. Time. Still, yet, already, once, soon, just. Typicality, occasionally, generally, regularly, mainly. Adjunct of mood. Obviousness, of course, surely, obviously, clearly, evidently, apparently. Intensity, just, simple, merely, only, even, actually, really. And degree, quite, almost, nearly, scarcely. Now, you can see over here that adjunct of temporality is different, adjunct of mode is different. And then we have one more list here, and that is called polarity and modality, right? Now, adjuncts outside the mood system. The adjuncts, they may be within the mood system or they may be outside the mood system, right? Now, what are they? In addition to these covered above, there are also other kinds of adjuncts which are not part of the mood system, right? These have textual rather than interpersonal function. They include connectors such as however, moreover. They construct a relationship with some other piece of the text, usually a portion preceding it, right? So they don't usually connect things within a clause, right? Continuity adjuncts. Continuity adjuncts are continuatives or continuity items include words such as well, yeah, or found, essentially in conversation. Even yes and no can be considered to be continuity adjuncts. When they contribute to the textual organization of the clause, in this case, they would be signaling turn in conversation, not expressing polarity as in the interpersonal mode function. So yes, the common yeah is used frequently during a conversation to signal a hearer's continued listening. Also, in this case, it is functioning as textual agent. So when we are talking to each other, right? Okay. Sometimes we say, yeah, I'm listening to you well. All right. Why do we say that? Because we want the conversation, continue, right? In that case, they are not in the mood system. Mood system means that it has to be either in a declarative sentence or an interrogative sentence or in an imperative sentence, right? Is that clear? So what if it's not falling within that? Instead, it's outside that, and the main purpose is to continue the conversation or combining the text, right? Okay. Then of course it is these are the adjuncts like which are outside the mood system, and these are the types: conjunctive and continuity and vocatives, right? Have you understood this? So they are the adjuncts which don't fall in the mood system. They are outside the mood system. Vocative adjuncts. Vocatives are considered interpersonal elements in the clause as they add information regarding attitude, relationship, but are not part of the mood or residue. See analysis of the last line in previous conversation. These adjuncts are so-called address terms. They are used to directly address a person. For example, Mr. Smithers, Sir, or Diana. Now, this is, of course, if I say, Ali, come here. So this Ali is a vocative, right? It's not the part of the mood system that is come here, because we always separate it with commas also, right? So these are just vocatives, right? And so all of these conjunctive adjuncts, continuity adjuncts, and vocative adjuncts would not fall in the mood system, right? What now, when I say mood system, what do I mean by that? I mean by that declarative, interrogative, and imperative, one thing. And I mean by that there got to be two parts here: subject, right, and the residue. Residue is the rest of the, apart from the subject, whatever is left, that is residue, basically, right? Okay. Summary tables for mood elements and residues. So what I believe that your task is to read all these tables from this page and send me at least your own tables, right? Like that, at least of 10 sentences, right? Make tables like this and send it to me. 10 sentences in which you are going to, parse all the elements the way being shown in the tables. For example, here you can see, oh, adjunct continuity, amazingly, adjunct comment, they, subject, talked, finite, and of course predicator, because ed is over here, right? And then about Hamlet, that is adjunct circumstance. And you can see that these can be broadly, they can be broken into two: mood and residue. And you can also see that adjunct continuity is not the part of mood system, right? So mood is starting from adjunct comment. Is that clear now? And we can also see over here that the residue is whatever is from the finite or predicator onwards, right? Is that clear? Is this clear to you guys, class?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what's happening here in this one? When did you read Hamlet? So when is the adjunct, right? But here it's this is one is the residue, right? Because it's not there is no grammatical subject here, right? Then when we can see over here finite, right? So the moment the finite starts, right, that is the mood. That is the mood, finite and the subject. And then the rest one from predicators onwards, right? This whole thing is what? Residue. So we also need to learn that the finite is the very pretty much part of mood. Predicator can go into residue also, as well, right, at times. So over here also, who has a copy of Hamlet? So here the subject. Why they are saying this one? Who is the subject? Because who has replaced the subject position here, right? Is that clear now? So the answer would be Mr. Kamran, Ali, so and these sort of things, right? So we are asking about the subject. Here we are not asking about the subject, we are asking about the time. So that's why this one is residue, this one is mood, and after finite, the rest is, right, is actually residue, right? So the mood element has basically subject and finite. Is this clear to you guys or not?
Yes, sir.
I'm asking everybody.
Yes, sir.
Because you have to do this assignment, then you don't get into trouble. And you do have the exam also. If you are not clear on anything, please ask me again. Done? Should I log this? Class, wake up.
Yes, sir.
All right then. So what you got to do, choose any 10 sentences, right? And make the tables like that. But there got to be variations. Sometimes, mood and residue, sometimes residue, mood, and then again residue, right? So as you can see over here, right? So you can understand the distribution very well. All right. So you're going to send it to me in an hour. This is you want me to reduce the work, or you can do it in an hour? Hello? Class?
सर कर लेंगे लेकिन अफ्तारी के बाद.
अच्छा चलो ठीक है. All right. Okay. Just do it. Send it to me on the group, right? Okay. Take care. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.
Hello? You want to say something?